All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just to kind of reflect on what we talked about. We talked about AEW Dynamite preview, which I kind of glazed over and forgot to tell you who won the Casino Gauntlet match. It was Will Ospreay. I don't know if any of you guys were surprised by that, but Will Ospreay recently coming off of a huge win against Bryan Danielson. And he's now the next competitor for Roderick Strong's AEW International Championship that they will fight. They will fight at Double or Nothing. So, wanted to squeeze that in there, definitely didn't want to miss the chunk of the meat in terms of that match. But before we move on to our next segment, we're going to talk about our Thursday Night Wrestling. Remember to hit up the tips and donations link. We get a number of questions that come in from viewers like you during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you to use the tips and donations link at the GSMC podcast.net with your questions. Let's put your questions up on top so we can talk about it. Just tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you want to further elaborate on. Absolutely anything in the chat. It's fair play. We're all wrestling fans. We're all a family. And, obviously I love, peace, love, and positivity. Leave something positive. But if you have something negative, you know what? Feedback is a gift. Feedback is a gift. Criticisms work just as much as, praises, I guess. But just don't grill me or criticize me like Chad Gable did to the Alpha Academy on Monday Night Raw, because I don't think I can take it. I'm just kidding. No, but anyways, the link is the GSMCpodcast.net. If you want to talk, hit it up. It's it'd be fun. It'd be nice and fun to kind of talk to everybody. So yeah. All right. So we have our Thursday Night Wrestling preview. Obviously tonight we have our Impact Wrestling on Thursday night, and also we have our Ring of Honor. I think it's episode 60. But yeah, let's dig on into it. So obviously Thursday night wrestling, TNA. When you think of Thursday night, I think of TNA 110%. Kind of the TNA was kind of like the Thursday's always kind of been TNA show, kind of always their day and stuff like that. Kind of like Friday, SmackDown, Monday, Raw, and now you kind of have AEW Dynamite, which is, pretty cool, pretty cool. So you have a fallout. So we're going to talk about the fallout from Rebellion. Nick Nemeth looks to bounce back from his loss against the TNA World Champion Moose at Rebellion. I think for sure Nick Nemeth is going to find a way to kind of bounce back, and I don't think he's going to be able to fight Moose right away again. Perhaps maybe in a couple of months, but why not go for Kyle Fletcher? It's going to be a great match. Imagine like going for the television championship. That would be, super, super dope. Or the digital media championship against Laredo. Like it could be, go either way there. Next we have he's going to square off against Eddie Edwards. And next we have Ash by Elegance. Looks to get back into the TNA Knockouts championship picture. Ultimately, you saw her replacement in that 8-4-1 match for the number one contendership to fight Jordan Grace at Rebellion. And you ultimately saw Steph D. Launder win the match thanks to Matt Cardona, which, tore pec. And he's going to be out for minimally, probably like a year, I would say. But she's back. Ash by Elegance is back. So, pretty cool. She's going to fight Xia Brookside tonight, right? Brookside's no like just squash match. She's no like just kick to the curb competitor. She can do it. She can defeat someone. And Ash by Elegance, she had so much momentum before she was out. I don't know if she was out by choice or an injury, but they didn't really disclose any information in terms of that. But I don't know. It should be a pretty interesting match tonight. Next, we have Josh Alexander addressing the TNA universe after a last man standing match against Hammerstone. We'll find out what his next move is. We'll find out what Josh Alexander is going to do next. So, super cool. We have Sami Callihan set for a 2-on-1 match between the Death Machine and the Good Hands. After a successful title defense at Rebellion, the X Division champion Mustafa Ali finds himself a new challenger. I think the next one is Under Siege, and I think it's about like four weeks away. So should be pretty cool to watch that. Should be pretty interesting to find out who's going to square up with Mustafa Ali in the ring, because Mustafa Ali, like what I've said before in WWE, he's impressive. He's a high flyer. He knows how to like get the crowd behind him, but he also can play that good heel. He did that with Retribution in WWE Monday Night Raw, which ultimately kind of failed. But wasn't his fault. Wasn't his fault at all. At all. So it's going to be a ballot box battle to determine the number one contendership. Next, we have Mike Santana return at Rebellion, and now he looks to build momentum after his return. Of course, who doesn't? We have the Rascals, Myron Reed, and then we also have the Broken Matt Hardy, who made his return to Impact Wrestling on Rebellion. I love Matt Hardy, but like I said, I didn't really want to see him back in WWE because I feel like I don't know. I feel like he's kind of like that veteran that when you put him on a roster, he's going to be able to take a couple of these young guys under his wing and ultimately kind of show them the ropes to kind of be like, hey, like I was once like you, like Matt and Jeff Hardy. They started off as I think they were actually part of the Brood. They were part of the Brood with the Gangrel. Ultimately, they went out and I think they were with Michael Hayes for a little bit, and then they became the Hardy Boys as a tag team. And then both Matt and Jeff Hardy became main Carters, main event, and singles wrestlers, winning championships and stuff like that. So having someone like Matt Hardy in your locker room is, would be pretty good, pretty good. Next, we have Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor, tonight we have the Outrunners. They take on the Undisputed Kingdom in a proving ground match. And something that really intrigued me was the whole concept of a proving ground match because I think Mark Briscoe kind of had one of those matches against the Griff Garrison last week on Ring of Honor. And ultimately, Briscoe won. Love that guy. So I was thinking, I was like, what is a proving ground match? Then, of course, I did my, as a bookworm and as a college student, I was like, all right, do some research. You know what I mean? So I found it was, it's when up and coming competitors or competitor, they fight the champ, and if they win the match, then they get a chance at a future title shot. And also, if they last more than 10 minutes, they also could, get a title shot in the future. So, that's pretty cool. See, match stipulations like that, just to kind of switch it up, would be, pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to any creative team in terms of like wrestling promotions. So, next, we have the Bullet Club Gold. They have unified the AEW Trios title and the Ring of Honor's six-man tag team titles at Dynasty. Of course, like I said before, the Bullet Club Gold is, they're kicking ass right now. The Bang Bang Gang. Switchblade Jay White can't do anything wrong. He's going to totally kill it. He's the next star. He definitely has that. He has that face. He has that face. And of course, we all know he can back it up. We all know Jay White can definitely back it up because no one wants to mess with that guy. Do I want to mess with him? I'm just kidding. Switchblade, Jay White. Like, just the name in general. Like, it's just like, you don't want to mess with a guy like that. Definitely not. Next, we have Abaddon will be in action tonight. Also, Johnny TV will also be in action. Taya Valkyrie. And we'll hear from the always amazing Athena and Billy Starks. And then we also have Blake Christian against AR Fox and the Beast Mortos. And then, of course, we have, the Murder Hawk Monster Lance Archer and the Righteous will also be in action tonight. So, obviously a lot of cool stuff gonna happen tonight on TNA Impact, gonna happen tonight on Ring of Honor. And man, I can't get over that proving ground match. I think that's really cool. I think that's super badass. And of course, I mentioned the 841 that happened before Rebellion. And I don't know, whoever's the writers of Ring of Honor, man, they're innovative. It's just something different. It just hits different. You know what I mean? So yeah. That's Thursday Night Wrestling preview. And next, we're going to talk about, get ready for our next segment. We're going to talk about interesting match types. And like I mentioned before, because of the proving ground match, I did my research. Obviously, a bunch of other match types came up, and I was like, oh my God, that's interesting. Ooh, that's interesting. Uh, what? Like, and then I compiled just a couple of matches that I think would do really well in terms of like WWE or just something to do, like just something to keep around in Impact or Ring of Honor, maybe even a New Japan Professional Wrestling. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. So, hey, don't go anywhere.